We are being joined by our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Civil. For more on this, good evening to you, Siddhant. What are the expectations from Prime Minister Modi's speech tomorrow?
Well, the biggest expectation is the extension of lockdown. It is now given that the lockdown will be extended. We know that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi had video conference with the chief ministers of various states, third time in last few days and weeks. We know that later on several chief ministers, including the chief minister of Delhi, had spoken about the extension of lockdown. And the statement from the Prime Minister's office also mentioned about the consensus that has been formed regarding the lockdown. In fact, the Indian government is banking upon lockdown as a measure to make sure that the crisis can be contained. We know that the lockdown was announced on 25th of March, 21-day period, and it finishes tomorrow. And the Indian Prime Minister will be addressing. It's a pre-recorded statement. But if I can give you some data, we know on 25th of March, the number of people infected with COVID here in India were approximately around 509 people were dead. The number of tests were 22,000 people or samples who were tested, but it has been almost 21 days and the numbers have crossed over 9,000. The number of people dead approximately more than 300, and also we know the number of people India has tested now stand above 2 lakhs. So there has been increment in every terms, whether it is the number of people infected or number of people in fact discharged as well. Approximately 800 people have been discharged as well. So clearly there have been number of positives as well as negatives, but the big focus of the Indian government is to make sure that it doesn't spread. We know that here in the national capital, I'm standing in Connaught Place. This is a busy area usually, and the Rajiv Chowk metro station is a metro station which is always packed. But I have been coming almost on a daily basis around the area, and I've seen almost no one present. And today also no one present, and this is expected to continue for considerable time. But one thing the Indian government is also mulling is also making sure that the economy works. We know that the mantra of the Indian Prime Minister is Jaan and Jahan. That means world and the containment of the crisis should go on together. So essential services, the economy should not come to a grinding halt, which it can come given the fact that lockdown has a lot of negative consequences, including on the economy. We know that the IMF has already announced that the world is in recession. So the focus of the government here is to make sure that the economy continues.
What will India be doing to create that spirit for economic activity?
Well, there are a number of plans which are being discussed by the Indian government, which includes the red plan, the yellow plan, and the green plan, which means that areas which are red, there will be no activity, no one can go out, no one can come inside. Where it is yellow, there can be certain relaxations when it comes to lockdown measures. These are the things which the Indian government is planning, because the Indian government knows that there are several things which it need to prioritize, including the agriculture sector, because this is the harvest season which has begun, and for that the people are required, for that people on the ground are required, and there needs to be relaxation on that front, or it will majorly or negatively impact the food security of the country. So in that terms, the Indian government is looking forward for relaxation in that sector, but by and large it will be a carefully chalked out plan by the Indian leadership, by the Indian Prime Minister, something that the Indian Prime Minister is talking about, how life, which means that people should be at least living to make sure that the economy works, and of course the economy continues to work, because we already know there have been several negative news coming in terms of the economy. The growth rate might be slashed. We know that globally also there has been a lot of negative news coming in terms of economy. As I talked about, the IMF saying that we are in recession, and it looks like that it will be one of the worst recessions. It will be compared to the Great Depression of 1940. So completely changed economy we can expect, because the government is also using this crisis as an opportunity to become more self-reliant, which was talked about in the statement by the Prime Minister's office released after the meeting between the Indian Prime Minister and the video conference which he had with the chief ministers of various states.
Siddhant, thank you for that report. That's our principal tip.